Welcome back to the Against All Odds, the Less Than 1% Chance podcast with your host, Maria Ponte, where we will hear stories of incredible people thriving against all odds. And my hope is that we can all see how life is always happening for us, even when we are the less than 1% chance. Hey, welcome back to Against All Odds, the Less Than 1% Chance podcast with your host, Maria Aponte. I am so stoked that you're back. I'm just going to get right into it. I have been on a kick of saying yes more. Okay. So this is something that I know is so hard sometimes for people, but hear me out a little bit on this, because we just in general need to learn how to say yes more to the things that will push us, will make us grow, will take us outside of our comfort zone. All of those things are so important. So then we figure out what to say no to, because obviously, like I was talking about last week, boundaries are super important. So I want to encourage you to say yes more. I read this article and it was really good, and it went through some points that I want to touch on. This was all because about a week and a half ago, I get a message from my friend and mentor upline saying basically, hey, so I was invited to go to meet with our corporate team in LA. However, she's got a 3.5-month-old. I can't not take him. And let me preface this with, I'm obsessed with babies. I love babies. They're like my love language. I'm obsessed. So her knowing that, and I've seen like 4 of her 6 babies come into this world, and I've loved every single one of them. And so she messages me asking me if I would be available to go to LA with her so I could take care of the baby while she does these meetings. And I'm like, I'll make it happen. Just give me a few. I'll make it happen. In like less than 24 hours, I said yes to her. I figured out what we were going to do with my kids. I traded out some hours from work and I booked my flight. And I was so excited and pumped, because not only am I getting one-on-one time with her, which is always amazing. She's incredible, and I completely love and appreciate her and her mentorship. And not only was I getting one-on-one time with her, but I was getting one-on-one time with the baby. It was the best. Anyways, that happened this past weekend, and so I was in LA for a few days. We got there late Saturday night and then left early on Tuesday. So it was literally 2 jam-packed full days of, she had meetings, I had baby. It was the best. So all of that to say, if I would have been like, I gotta figure life out, I don't know, she wouldn't have been able to say yes to that. And then I wouldn't have gotten the amazingness that I got from that few days away. It opens you up to opportunities. And how cool is it that you can just up and change like the course of your life and by one yes. So had a meeting with Brendon Burchard, which is an amazing author and motivational speaker and keynote speaker. And just, if you've never heard of Brendon Burchard, go look him up. I'll put his Growth Day app information in the show notes, because it is what I start my day with every single day. He has a daily fire every morning, and every morning I wake up, I put on my headphones or whatever. Whenever I wake up, I put on my headphones and I listen to his daily fire. And then I listen to my affirmations and vision. And then like I meditate. So I have a full morning routine. So they were meeting with Brendon Burchard. The first day was like a Growth Day live event. And then the next day he was meeting with corporate because they're working on some things together. So all exciting things. So with all that to say, that yes, that hell yes that I said to her gave her the opportunity to be in that room. That gave me the opportunity to see some incredible, powerful women all together. It gave me the opportunity to absolutely love on this baby that I've been like, she lives in Idaho, I live in Orlando. So two totally different spectrums of the country. And I've only been able to love on this kid through videos or Zoom calls or whatever. I got to, oh my gosh, have the best time with this 3.5-month-old baby that completely took over my heart. And I just felt so blessed. Then, in one of the moments that I went to take him to get fed, I was sitting out in front of where they were doing these meetings, and I had a amazing conversation with these two ladies. They were with Growth Day and Brennan Burchard, and just asked, how did I get started with the company that I did? And I was able to share my story, how I started and why I started and why I'm still here. And it felt so good that I feel like that is a story that whether I think people are sick of hearing it or not, I think it's worth repeating because it just showed me that there's people out there that haven't heard my story, that need to hear my story, that get encouraged and inspired from my story. And I think that is where we get out of our own head and truly live the impact and legacy that we're supposed to live when we say yes more, because that was a yes opportunity as well. The reason I even started this business was a yes opportunity. I was working on my own health, and a friend suggested that I start. And I was like, what are you talking about? No, I can't even coach myself. How am I going to help anyone else? And from the belief that person had in me, I said yes, scared and unsure of anything that could happen. And from that, I've found the best of friends. I found my own health. I found my own purpose in life. I have just been through this amazing journey so far. And that was because I had the courage to say yes. And so I wanted to really hone in on the fact that we need to just learn how to say yes more, because that's when opportunities happen, when you realize that you become more interesting. Like, how cool can I just say, hey, so I just went on a 2.5-day trip to LA, not knowing what to expect. And I got to speak to someone that's worked directly with Brendan Burchard and his mom. So one of those ladies was his mom, and I was able to express to her how powerful her son's purpose and legacy has been on me. So how much he's changed my life. And then in turn, like, I think about my own kids and how amazing that would be to be the parent of someone that's impacting so many lives and get that, oh my gosh, your son changed my life, or your daughter changed my life. That would be so incredible. And so I look at it as in the perspective of a parent, seeing her love and just her own legacy in her child, in her son. And it was so powerful and it's so beautiful. And so I wouldn't have had that opportunity had I not said yes. So you become more interesting. You have these things, these experiences that you can talk to your friends about, that you can inspire people with. So you become more interesting. How cool is that? Like, you learn more. And by learning more in these situations, like, you always have something to talk about. You realize the kindness in strangers, right? So I would have never, for this, using this example, I would have never felt okay to just speak to this lady that comes up to me and just starts talking if I wouldn't have realized myself, I'm a stranger to somebody and they had the courage to come and talk to me, and I feel like I have a lot to give, then why wouldn't they have the same to give? And I could really connect with a complete stranger. This whole business for me has been connecting with complete strangers and realizing that they are now like some of the best friends I could ever ask for. How amazing is that? So you put yourself in a place where you create the space to become friends with people that you would have never met. Your confidence, it boosts, it skyrockets when you put yourself in a place of going outside your comfort zone and saying yes to something that is probably scary and it's probably going to take a lot of courage. When you do that and you follow through, your confidence like boosts so high. And how cool is it that you have the ability and the chance to give yourself a confidence boost? We don't always get that. And we can create this opportunity by saying yes to the things that make us maybe a little scared. And maybe we got to figure this out. And the things that we have to have some courage to do and say yes to boosts our confidence in so many ways that you're like, I can count on myself, and that skyrockets your confidence. So your confidence builds. You realize that there's kindness in strangers as well. You become more interesting. And then you understand that failure is okay. It becomes okay because you did it anyways. You did it scared. You did it with courage. You did it whether you succeeded or not. And failing at something becomes easier. It becomes okay because you know that you still did it, and that boosts your confidence. And that just helps you the next time for whatever it is that you want to try, because you have the courage, you know that you survived, you're still here. So failure is okay. It is perfectly fine. I feel like I've had a lot of quote unquote failures. I say quote unquote because I feel like if I haven't given up, I haven't failed. The moment that I give up, at that point, I have failed. And I think that's the difference, right? So failure becomes something that's just part of success. And you can fail at something multiple times in different ways, and you finally get something right, and you're like, that's why it didn't work out every other time, because I needed this to be the way that I did it, but I needed to figure out that this was the way that I needed to do it. I hope that makes sense. Let's say, okay, so we become more comfortable with failure. You get better at things as you continue to practice being courageous and saying yes more. We become better at it, and we become better at the things we do scared. We become better at coaching ourselves through it. We become better at, listen, this podcast thing and the editing and the uploading and all of the things, it isn't easy. Simple. I have found simple ways of doing it, but it isn't easy. I was scared to be like, if I'm going to do weekly uploads, then I have to learn how to find things to talk about. And I don't have a super interesting day-to-day life. However, I learn things every day, and I get to now use this platform to share with you those things that I get to learn every day. You just get better at it. I was nervous to have to do solo episodes. Not every week am I going to have someone to speak to. That's okay. The fact that I can now give you my heart and pour my heart out to you and just be very authentic with the things that I'm going through, there's a purpose for it. There's a reason that maybe today you needed to hear that you should say yes more, that there should be more hell yeses in your life, and you get better at it. little by little, it just becomes easier to manage, easier to do. You just become better. How freaking amazing is that? You discover new creativity. As an example, again, this podcast. I think a lot of what was stopping me for 4 years was, what am I going to talk about? Okay, there's so much to talk about when we are facing odds. So much. And maybe learning how to say yes more opens up so much of those obstacles that we have to overcome, that against all odds we will overcome because we've said yes more. Again, my own health journey. If I wouldn't have gone through that obstacle and said hell yes to this journey and the business attached to it, I might not be here alive, because I was dealing with a slew of health issues, cancer, depression, like all these things that were really tough. And those obstacles, I feel like I found when I said yes, it opened up that creativity. It opened up the ability to have something to talk about, have something to post about, connect with complete strangers on a level that maybe I would have never felt okay with until I went through that obstacle. Or just, again, this podcast is a lot of that. This is against all odds. I was like, okay, Maria, what is so relevant to you? I know that I have gone against the odds and I am here and I am thriving and I struggle just like everyone else. And I authentically will let you know I am struggling just like anybody else. However, I'm going to look at the way that life is happening for me and not to me. And I think that so many more people need to hear that. And do I find this new creativity in what am I going to talk about this week? And I could tell you that yesterday I had no clue what I was going to do this episode on. But that recurring theme kept coming up, the hell yes. I just got invited to Arizona and I was like, hell yes, let's do it. I'll figure it out. I am going to say yes before I figure it out, because then when I do, and this is part of the cool things about opening yourself up to the hell yeses in your life, that things fall into place. And I'm going to say, yes, I'm doing this before I have anything figured out. Because at that point, then I know that things will start falling into place and it will work out, because I've already projected out there to God and the universe and whatever that I was going to make this happen. And it's not for anything bad. It's exciting and good, and all that energy, I'm just manifesting that and I'm letting the world know that it's happening, and it works out. It completely works out. You feel healthier, right? When you say yes more, you feel healthier. I feel healthier just saying yes to my own health. Just saying, having the confidence to be like, I know that my health is number one, because once I know that's the case, everything else becomes so much more easier. I'm saying yes to myself, which means I'm putting my oxygen mask on first, which means that I am going to be that much better for everyone else around me. So saying yes to myself has changed that in my life. So I do feel more healthy. Asking for things becomes easier. I can say that it is so much easier now to ask for help, to ask for someone to join me, to ask for anything that you feel you need in the moment. When you say yes more, you're more inclined to help others. And in turn, it makes it easier for you to truly be able to ask for things, because then you know when someone asks for help from you, you know how good that feels for you. I'm going to say this because it was something that I struggled with so much. I was always the one that people would always ask for help, and it filled my cup to help others. I love being able to help others. It completely makes me happy. It feels purposeful that I can help someone else. I love it. When we don't ask for help, we are denying somebody else that same feeling, that same feel good energy that you get when you get to help someone truly and honestly and selflessly, right? Especially as women, we tend to not allow ourselves to ask for help with kids, with our health, with housework, finances. We don't ask for help. And it blocks that blessing because just like you breathe in and out, same energy with money, same energy with friendship, it goes both ways, right? Whatever you give out, you get back, and vice versa, right? And that is something that I had to learn how to ask for help. And it's something that I still sometimes struggle with, but I have to always remind myself, if I love being able to help someone, I know that's going to be reciprocated in whoever I need help from. Hopefully that makes sense. Mondays for most are dreadful, and we just go through Monday and it's so annoying and blah, blah, blah. However, when you feel like you are living a purposeful life, Mondays are an exciting new start to the week. I get to help people. How freaking cool is that? I can now go help someone else. It's Monday. Let's go. That energy. You don't go into the week dreading it. You go into the week excited for what's to come and what more you can do and what impact will you have and what else can you say hell yes to. Those things are exciting and important, and it makes you start enjoying the Monday rather than dreading not having a purpose to go through the rest of the week. Like, hell yes. Hell yes to enjoying Mondays. And then you learn how to say no to the things that are not a hell yes. If it's something that's not aligned with what my purpose is, and if it's something that's not aligned with what my values are, I'm going to say no. And I'm going to be okay with saying no. Sometimes, let me give you a very silly, brief example. My shifts at work changed and I work now graveyard. So I work midnight to 6 a.m. And there are days that my oldest daughter is like, Mom, can you take me to work? And I'm like, you're going to have to find someone else because Mom needs to go to sleep and Mom needs to wake up and do a bunch of things and be refreshed to whatever things I have on my list. And I can't divert my schedule to pick you up, take you to work, take the other one to school, and all the things. Maybe tomorrow is a yes. Today, it's a no. And it just becomes easier to say no, and you learn to say no to the things that aren't going to serve you in that moment. Sometimes that's so important for you to distinguish where to say no to. Those are called boundaries. Boundaries are so important. So you obviously learn how to say no more. That's amazing. And everything just starts making sense. Things just work out. Things fall into place. And when you are doing things that will move your life forward, everything falls into place. It's like the world conspires to make everything fall into place. How awesome is that? That is when you have to sit back and say, oh, that makes sense why nothing worked out before. I say this even with my own relationship with my boyfriend, Danny. I can understand why XYZ relationships didn't work. But I also know why they were there in my life, because I learned so much from those relationships that now I have the relationship that I have with my boyfriend, and he came into my life and we were in a place that we were ready for each other, rather than, not that we're not working on ourselves and continuously working on our relationship, but we were ready for that type of relationship because we were clear on what we wanted in a person, in a relationship. Both of us separately. Like, I had this list of things that I wanted in a relationship and in a partner, and he fulfills what I wanted, like 99%. He doesn't dance. That's okay. I'll get over it. It's fine. I have friends that dance, so that's who I dance with. But in a partner, he's exactly what I wanted. And it's so cool when we know what we want and are clear on what we want in our life and what we're worth. Then saying no to these relationships makes total sense when you're in something that is mind-blowing and that is fulfilling and that feels right. So all those things didn't work out because this was supposed to. And I think that's so beautiful and so important. So I know this was like quick and a lot of things and high energy. I'm here for it. I hope that this served you in some way. I hope this was short and sweet and to the point. And I hope that you say hell yes to more things. And honestly, I would love to hear what you're going to say hell yes to. What is your next hell yes? I want to hear it. Message me on all the social medias. I'm available. Leave a review. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you took out of this episode, and I want to hear the first hell yes that you're going to do after you listen to this. I hope this served you in some way. Thank you so much for listening or watching, however you listen to this. I am just so pumped and so excited to be able to bring this to you. Say hell yes more, and make sure you keep the boundaries for the no's that need to be in your life. Thank you so much. Peace out. Love your life. Bye.